Hello everyone, welcome back to Sim Auctions. So in today's video, we'll be conducting a World Series based on a recently completed sim auction involving the decade of the 1970s. So for this sim auction, we tried something a little bit different. Instead of bidding on a particular season, we bid on the entire career of a player in the decade of the 1970s. And then at the end of the auction, what we do is we randomize all the seasons to determine the seasons that were actually purchased by all of us. So this was a fun project, and since there was some inherent uncertainty in the format itself, it forced the participants to consider alternative bidding strategies. Who will win this contest? Is it going to be the sim manager who played it safe? Or is it going to be the GM that tried to land the huge season despite less than optimal odds? And we're going to find out shortly. In the sim auction version of the World Series, just as a reminder, we simulate entire seasons using the APBA computer game. Each season counts as one game. The team that wins 4 seasons wins the sim auction World Series. So before we dive into the simulations, just take a quick look at the teams that resulted from the auction based on the randomized seasons. Let's see, maybe we can start off with Jason's team. And what I'm going to do first is make sure I share the screen with what you guys need to see. All right, let's see. First of all, we definitely have to share our APBA program, and let's share the teams that were purchased, and I'll confirm that you guys can see this. All right, guys, confirming you can see the APBA screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
And then let's make sure you can see this screen here.
Andy, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. I don't know what magic you did, but
Don't worry.
make a mental note, Alberto, and then we'll do it again next time.
Yeah.
It's all good now.
Yeah.
So this is not actually the screen that we use for the auction itself. This is the APBA information I sent you with the seasons that you actually got after the randomization. So let me show you real quick where the teams are. Now you guys can see this screen, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Jason, I'm going to pull up your team. Let's see. And then I'm going to show you also a little team comparison tab that I created as well, which is a little bit enlightening as well. So what do you think, Jason?
Well, I think I got lucky with Derek's lottery, especially with wood, which we'll see in a minute. But I felt really good about some of the big money purchases I spent at the beginning, like Hank Aaron and Morgan and Schmidt. And
Yeah.
then I just went with volume on first baseman and outfielders. Honestly, it wasn't a strategy as much as I felt like Alberto and others gobbled up some really talented outfielders, and I was just looking for any outfielder who could defend. And ironically, the only 3 outfielder I got out of like 10 tries at first base or outfield was Hank Aaron. So
Right.
we'll see how that works running Hank Aaron in center field. But yeah, I was pleased that the lineups of all the teams seem really strong. So it's hard to tell relatively how good the lineup's going to be.
Yeah. They are strong. You do have a little bit of an edge. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And I love, listen, you and I were emailing back and forth yesterday, but I mean, you only had a 14% chance of getting Wilbur Wood's best season, and you nailed it. So good for you.
Yeah, I
So
spent
yeah,
$10 on Wood and got a quality 20 pitcher, and then I spent $46 on Palmer, and he's a
a 12.
12, and he may not pitch much at all. So my
So yeah, So that's an interesting little twist on this format, right? You and I played it safe in that respect, right? We went after the two best starters, Palmer and
Right.
Seaver, and neither of us got their best season. So yeah,
No, not at all. Not
yeah.
at all.
So, but you definitely have a strong team. And I'll show you a little bit more in a minute when I pull up that team comparison tab. Let's see. Let's go in order here. Derek, let's pull your team up. What do you think?
I mean, again, with a lot of these, you're going to be pretty strong all around just based on the players that were available.
Right.
I think I lucked out on a couple good years from the batting standpoint, and then a couple of them not so hot. So,
Yeah.
For example, bench, only 61 RBI.
Yeah.
He listed there. Yeah.
Yeah. I just ranked it by OPS.
Yeah, by OPS, he's my worst hitter. But he's a 9 defender at catcher, so I still have him, I think, at least versus righties.
Yeah.
He's my catcher, so Concepcion's a good defender. And then there's certain guys, like Rod Crew, you're going to get a good season no matter what.
Right. And you didn't pay that much for him. The one thing I forgot to do last night is bring over the prices paid from the other spreadsheet, but you didn't pay that much for Carew, really.
Carew I got for 17 and Reggie was 15, so I got a couple bargains there.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to get Pete Rose. I kind of got stuck with him, and when I looked at his numbers from the 78 season, they really weren't that great. So I wound up going with Bando and Nettles, and Rose is kind of an expensive pinch hitter at this point.
Right.
So again, we'll see how that all shakes out.
Yeah.
Pitching, I think my rotation is solid. I've got a 4-man Hall of Fame rotation: Blyleven, Carlton, Gibson, and Jenkins. I've got McNally to fill in as a starter, and my bullpen's a little thin, so we'll see how that shakes out.
I noticed you kept Dennis Leonard out of your rotation. Was that strategic, just to give you maybe like an extra reliever?
Extra reliever, yeah. That was the only reason I left him out.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, and Lolich had a bad. Yeah, he's got an M for home runs allowed. It was one of his bad seasons, so I left him off. And same with McDaniel there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what I did is I extracted the guys that were dropped from the ERA calculation just to get a true number. So that's why these guys are down here.
Yep. And I think you might have mentioned this during the auction, but even when we look at the calculations here, there's some of these guys that are going to be barely used. So like if you're looking at your team OPS, it's maybe not a true gauge of who's actually in your lineup.
Correct. Yeah, there's a bunch of these guys. I could have taken a little bit more time to extract some hitters, but that would have taken more time. So I just did the pitchers just to get a true sense of that. You made a comment about defense, and actually defense, as you'll see when we do the simulations, when I did the test sims, I had the worst defense by far. And I've mentioned this before. Defense is not it's not hugely important in APBA, but it becomes very, very important when the teams are very tightly matched, like it is in this format. In this format, difference is actually a difference maker.
Okay.
And I didn't pay attention to it, to be honest with you, and that's gonna burn me. All right, so good job there. Let's move over to Anthony. What do you think, Anthony?
I feel like I lucked out on a few guys, especially Thurman Munson. I think I ended up with probably the best catcher, I think, in this draft.
Yeah, I like Munson. I like Foster. Yeah.
Yeah,
you were very disciplined. You didn't overpay for anybody. You did a nice job of being disciplined.
Yeah, definitely wish I would have probably spent a little more for another outfielder. Probably would have been not bad, but otherwise pretty happy with the offense.
I have a quick funny story about Brett. When we were bidding on Brett, my dog was barking loudly. I had myself on mute, and so Brett went, I think, a bit cheaper than he should have.
So there you go, Anthony. You can thank Derek's dog for getting bread cheaper than he should have. What about on the pitching side? You got you got Blue's second best season, so that was nice.
Yeah, that lucked out there, and then I think mainly the bullpen was the other part I really lucked out on.
Yeah.
And then only unfortunate side was Raleigh Fingers being as expensive as he was, and then getting by far his worst season. But
Correct. Yeah, you ended up having to bench him. Yeah, I think Vita Blue actually, when we look at all the entire starting pitching population in the auction, I think he was the second highest graded pitcher. So, yeah, nice job with him. All right. I mean, it's a competitive team. So let's see. Let's move on. Let me move over to me. So I was happy with the hitting. The thing that is going to bite me though is my best hitter has a 5 platoon factor, which means that, for example, using Vita Blue as an example, he's going to turn every time that he faces Vita Blue, he's going to make Vita Blue a grade 21. Not good. And that'll happen to every single lefty that he faces. It's going to bump up that lefty by 5 points. So that's a big hit. So that I wasn't happy with, even though I did get his best season, but it's gonna be significantly downgraded anytime he faces a lefty. And I didn't do a good job of coming up with alternative platoon partners for my hitters. So I'm kind of stuck with having to use Lynn all the time. Same with McCovey, for example. And then the other thing, as I mentioned, defense is going to bite me. McCovey's a 2 at first base. I got 2 1-outfielders. I have a 7 at shortstop and a 7 at second base. That's not going to work in this format. So that will hurt. And then the other thing that will hurt me is my starting pitching grades are not great. So that will have an impact on the results as well. And then really what I needed, based on the money I paid for him, I needed to get Seaver one of Seaver's top seasons, and I didn't. I didn't get a horrible season, but I didn't get one of his best seasons, which I really needed for the $49 I paid for him. So that didn't work out. All right, Alberto, over to you. What do you think, Alberto? Let me just sort your guys by OPS real quick here. There we go. What do you think? You got Parker's best season.
That was a good start right there with Parker.
Yeah.
I got his best season. I like my hitting.
Yeah.
I
Rice,
think
you got one of Rice's best seasons too.
Yeah, and I believe I also got is that Singleton probably one of his best seasons right here too, right? Singleton?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Frank Robinson looks good too.
Yeah, that was another one. Frank Robinson, correct. I was telling you. And then my pitching is a little thin though.
It's not horrible. But where you might get hurt a little bit is you have to use a grade 11 Eckersley as one of your starters, and also a grade 10 Sutton. So that might hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit thin compared to my hitting.
Correct. Yeah. So the pitching, you and I are kind of in the same boat with the pitching. We probably have the worst starting pitching. I'm going to show you guys that tab in a second. But I think you did a nice job in the auction, though. You also were very disciplined. So, I mean, I think everybody was pretty disciplined. Probably the one that was not disciplined is probably me and Jason bidding going into the 40s for a starting pitcher. So I don't know that was necessarily the best move in this format. But all right, cool. Let me show you guys this little team comparison tab that I put together. So when you look at ERA, let's see. When you look at ERA, I actually have the best pitching, but that is not so because APBA uses a formula that doesn't always correlate perfectly to the grades because it really depends on the year. And I'm going to have to do a little bit more research to try to figure out exactly what the mechanics of their formula is. But you'll notice that even though I have the best composite ERA, I actually have the worst starting pitching grades, which is it's going to hurt me.
Then I got the
And you got the second worst, yeah. So let me, so take a look. So notice this first column, ERA. But now let me sort it on the starting pitcher average grade. And you'll notice that Jason actually has the best starting pitcher. And I have the worst. Alberto is right after me, and then Anthony and Derek are almost identical. So it's really the grade is what drives the results, not the ERA. It's the pitching grade that the computer program uses to generate the results, compared to the hitting, of course. And then on the OPS side, which again is not a completely perfect assessment, because as Derek mentioned, there are plenty of hitters that on the lower side of the scale that are not going to be used, but it gives us a little bit of a gauge. Let me sort that one. And Jason does have the best hitting, 817, 809, 807, and then Alberto and Anthony come in towards the end. Again, not a complete gauge, and for the next time, I'm going to try to extract the hitters that are not going to be used that much, but this gives us a little bit of an idea. And then on the relief pitching, I did have the best average relief pitching, but here's the thing on relief pitching, and you guys know this. If your starters get hammered, I mean, they're going to have to pitch 4 or 5 innings anyway, because they're going to take care of the bulk of the innings. So you could have fantastic relief pitching, but by the time they get into the game, you've already lost the game. So, having bad starting pitching and good relief pitching is not necessarily a formula that will get you to victory. So, all right, that pretty much shows us the comparisons. Let's get into the good stuff here, which is the sims. All right, I'm going to minimize this because I'm going to still need to use this tab here. Let me just move my screen around a little bit. There we go. And then let me move this to the side here. All right. So just confirming, guys, can you see the APBA screen now?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, let's rock and roll here. Let's see. Let's make sure we are starting out clean. 0-0. Yep. All right, here we go. And then remember, after every season, I'm going to have to go to a different module to save the season. So there'll be a little bit of a gap there, but we'll keep moving. We'll keep things moving here. All right, let's get started here. Season 1 underway. All right, let's take a look early on. Let's see what the standings are. Anthony in the lead, 13-8 after 21 games. Still very close. Alberto falling behind, though. Hard to tell what. Sometimes I'm trying to follow my team results, but it's just, it sims so fast, so darn fast that you can't really tell. So we have to look at the standings. Let's see where we're at now. Jason jumps into the lead after 57 games. Derek right behind him, though. Everybody else pretty much falling out of it so far, unless one of us makes a strong run. But right now it's just Jason and Derek. I have a feeling that grade 20 Wilbur Wood is making an impact. And I'm cringing because every time my Fred Lynn pitches against Wilbur Wood, Wilbur becomes a 25 grade. So, all right, here we go. Let's take a look. Jason pulling away a little bit now, 9.5 game lead over Derek. Everybody else is really moving behind. Looking good for you, Jason. All right, let's take another look here. Magic number of 27 for Jason, but Derek is right there, 5 behind. We're going to just keep it right here. 2 behind, Derek. Magic number of 20. Still 2, Derek. Magic number of 12. 1.5. Magic number of 5. And I think that is it.
61 and 90.
It looks like Jason held on. That was close.
2.5.
Let's make sure there's, let's make sure there's no, we might have a couple of rainouts here. 1 rainout. Hold on. It's not going to really impact the result, but let's just run it to have a full season here. All right, so the final tally is nicely done, Jason. 97 victories. Derek, great season. 94 victories.
Finishing an 8-game winning streak.
Very nice.
Wow.
I needed it. Derek had that 11-game winning streak at one point.
No, Derek was right on your heels the entire time. So the rest of us, not so much, but great job by you guys. All right, let me just log this and save the stats, and then we'll get into season 2. All right, first of all, let me log it on the World Series tab. All right, so it looks like I have 70. Eric's at 94. Anthony is at 78. Alberto is at 61. And Jason, 97. All right, let's highlight that one. Perfect. Season 1 in the books. Let me just go to the other module and save it, and we'll come back to do season 2. All right.
That's my first game win ever.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Yeah, nice job. You definitely have a strong team. And I think I Wilbur Wood, I think, is the difference maker. All right, let's go to my Stat Master module. All right, looks like I have all that saved. Let me just confirm. Can you guys still see the APBA screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. Let me just wipe out the stats for the first season, and we will get going with the second one. Perfect. And then, guys, at the end, what we'll do is we'll look at the stats for the very last season just to keep things moving. We won't look at every single season, but we'll look at the deciding season. We'll look at all those stats. And then, of course, I'll compile all the seasons into an Excel spreadsheet and send you all that data when we're done. So, all right, here we go. Season 2 underway. All right, we should have about 20 or so games in. Let's just take a look at the early going here. Standings. Jason off to a strong start. I am 2 out. Everybody's still pretty much in it, but Jason is in the lead, 15-9 after 24 games. And we'll take a look at a few box scores here too in one of these seasons. All right, let's take a look. We are up to, let's see where we're up to here. Derek jumps into the lead. This one is very close so far after 55 games, though. Anybody's game on this one so far. Very close. Derek, Jason, me, Anthony, and Alberto. Everybody's still in it. All right, we're past, looks like we're past the All-Star break. Let's take a look. Derek holding on, 1.5 game lead over Jason. Anthony still in it. Alberto and me falling behind a little bit, but still not that far back. You know, this one's so close. I'm just going to keep it in the standings here. Let's see. Jason, jumps into the lead. Must have had a big winning streak there, 6 in a row. Derek, second. Yeah. Let's see. Look at this. Derek comes right back. 1 game out. Still on Jason's heel. Alberto, not too far behind. 5 back. Look at this. Derek jumps into the lead now. Jason, half out. 38 magic number. Anthony and Alberto still in it. I'm last. 5 out. Look at this. This is a good one. Derek, magic number of 20. Jason, 3 behind him. Anthony and Alberto still in it. I'm out of it. Derek, magic number of 11. 1.5 out. Anthony is now in second.
I fucking.
Oh, he won 9 in a row there.
Magic number of 3. This should be it. Oh, man, this is a great one. Let's see if we have any rainouts. Alberto, this might factor. Alberto, actually, let's not look at the standings right now, but this could have a deciding factor here because, Derek, you're in both of them.
Unbelievable. I can't believe how tight the race was in this one.
Yeah, I think Anthony's only a game back.
All right, this should be interesting. These are critical makeup rainout games here, probably. All right, here we go. Derek wins one of them, loses the other. Here we go, gentlemen. Final tally
I think
is
that's enough for him, I think.
yes.
I
Good
look
job,
at this
Derek.
Wow.
That was great.
Good game.
That was great. So nice job. Derek wins. Anthony is a very close second. Jason also very close. I come in third. Me and Alberto are in the back there. But a nice job by you three. Nice job, Derek. Great. All right, let me log this info. All right, let's see. So I had 75 wins. Derek wins with 87. That was a great season. Anthony comes in at 85. Alberto is at 71. And Jason is at 82. All right, we got ourselves a World Series here. Derek wins season 2. All right, let me save these stats on the other module, and we'll be right back to do season 3.
I don't remember who Alberto has in the bullpen, but his one run and extra innings record was maybe the deciding factor for him finishing in the back of the pack there.
You know, that's a good point. I normally
Had the goose.
I didn't even notice that. Wow, you're absolutely right. Yeah, 10 and 27 in 1 run and 3 and 15 in extra inning games. Yeah, that hurts. All right, let me go to the StatMaster module and save season 2.
Andy, that one year where it went 10 seasons, was that the longest still?
That's been the longest, yeah. So we've had one sim that has gone 10 seasons before we actually could decide a champion. And then we have one other one that went 8. But generally it gets decided with 7 or less. All right, I have the stats saved. So let's go back into the League Manager screen and we will get going with season 3 here. All right, let's take care of erasing these stats. All right, we have a clean slate, gentlemen, and here we go with season number 3. So we should have about 20 games in. Let's take a look. Derek in the lead, 13-6. Obviously still very early, so everybody's technically still in it. But Derek's off to a strong start. Let's take another look. Derek's still there. Me and Anthony are right behind them. Jason is right there as well. Alberto falling back. Yeah. It's that pitching, Alberto.
Yeah. So it's there.
But trust me, I'm in the same boat as you. You'll see. Let's take another look. Derek still in first. Somehow I'm staying close. I'm not sure how, but Jason and Anthony are right there. You guys are more legit than my team. All right, we are approaching the All-Star break here. All right, we just passed that. Let's take another look. I'm not sure how I'm doing it, but somehow I'm in first place. Jason, though, is right there. Anthony is second, and Derek is third. So right now it's a 4-team race. Alberto's just a little bit behind that. Because I will tell you guys, in the test sims that I did not win a single season. So there you go. Anthony jumps into first. Derek right behind him, but me and Jason are still right there. We're going to keep it right here, gentlemen. Anthony, half a game lead over Derek. Jason is right there. I'm falling behind a little bit. Alberto, 12 out. Derek jumps into the lead. Magic number of 39, but Jason and Anthony are still within distance. My team falling behind as expected. Derek, magic number 25. Jason and Anthony still there. Magic number of 13, Derek. Feeling the heat from Jason, though. Anthony falling behind a little bit. Magic number of 4. It looks like Derek has possibly the third season in the bag here. But let's take a look. Yes, indeed. Nicely done. Let's take a look at the rainouts here. All right, so the final results are Derek with 91 victories, Jason very close, 5 out, Anthony third, and fourth, and Alberto last. So the two teams with the worst pitching are the ones at the bottom there. And when we do the last season, you'll be able to see like the summary of the comparison, and it'll be a little bit more informational in terms of rank of ERA, rank of OPS, rank of fielding. So we'll do that on the very last season. All right, nicely done, Derek. Let me lock this, and we will, and I'll save the stats, and we'll come back to season 4. All right, so let's see. I had 74 victories. Derek, 91. Anthony, 80. Alberto with 69. And Jason with 86. All right, let's highlight this one for season 2. So far, Derek has 2 seasons. Jason has 1. All right, let's minimize this. And let me just save the stats on the other module, and we'll be right back to do season 4.
I think with this format, it's just we're all so tightly packed together. I mean, there are no garbage players in this. You know what I mean? So
correct.
You know,
correct.
I think the ERA spread was like 0.2, something like that, and the OPS was minimal. So
yeah, and that's why, and that sort of leads to my comment about the defense. When you have such tight a tight pack in hitting and pitching, defense can make a difference.
I went back and you had asked me about Dennis Leonard, why I left him out of the rotation. He had the highest whip on my team other than Lolich.
Okay.
And I think his strikeouts per 9 weren't so hot. So I kept it with the 4 Hall of Fame guys and left him in the bullpen. But
no, and
it's like, if you look, in another season, he might have been my ace.
Correct. And I thought it made sense to keep him in, since you were a little bit thin on relief. I think it made sense to keep him for the sim manager to use him in relief, and probably to use him to for spot starts as well.
Right.
All right, so let's see. This is pitching season number 3. Let me save that. All right, back to our league manager screen. Let me just delete season 3 stats. And let's make sure we're back to 0-0. Yep. All right, here we go. Derek leads 2 seasons to 1 over Jason. And here we go. Season 4 is underway. We should have at least 20 games in, I think. Let's take a look at the early going here. Jason in the lead. Again, very early, so everybody's still in it. But my team is second. Alberto is in third. So we should be probably near the 40 game mark now. Let's take a look. Alberto, look at this, a 3-way tie. What is going on here? And Derek's only 1 out. Anthony only 4 out.
Hope it stays like that.
He cleaned up his 1-run games. He's 7-1.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's see where we're at now. Jason jumps in the lead, but Alberto's still second. So Jason now, let's see, after 60 games, 36-24. Looks like we're past the All-Star break. Let's take a look. Jason opening up the lead a bit. Derek, though, is still within striking distance. So is Alberto. Anthony and me are falling behind, though. Jason opening it up, 8-game lead. I think we'll keep it right here. Alberto is in third. Anthony and me are pretty much out of it at this point. Jason went on a huge winning streak, it looks like, because this might be over.
6 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason's got this one under control. It would take a major collapse.
We're capable with 1-run games.
That was strange though, because early on it was really tight, but as the season progressed, you took control.
Notice with my 1-run game outcomes, I'm usually I win about 20% of the early 1-run games, and then I think I have a lot of depth. So as the season progresses, my team does better.
Yeah.
Early on.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you're putting together a monster season. You're already at 100 victories. Let's see if we have any rainouts. No rainouts. 102 victories. Fantastic. Well done. Derek comes in second, but a very distant 17 out. Good season, but it was just overpowering. Your team was overpowering in this season. So, all right, let me log in this info, and we are now tied 2 seasons to 2, or 2 games to 2. Derek and Jason. All right, my team, let's see, the worst season I've had so far. Derek, solid season with 85 victories. Anthony comes in at 76. Alberto at 71. And then Jason at 102. Very impressive. And there we go. All right, let me save these stats and we'll come back for season 5. All right, season 4 stats saved. Let's go back to our league manager screen here. And let's just delete these stats. All right, here we go. We have a tight one here. Two seasons to 2. Here we go, season 5. Take a look at the early season standings here. Derek in the lead, 10-7. You know what? Let's just take a look at a few boxes. We haven't done that. Let's take a look. Let me just stop it right here at the end of this day.
Did I lose to you 16-8, Andy?
I was gonna look at that one. Let me take a look
Yeah,
at
that
that.
was interesting. Something happened.
All right, so actually my pitching wasn't good either. I mean, but Perry got clobbered. 7 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should have gone with a 4-man rotation like Derek did and left Perry in the bullpen.
Yeah, because the sim manager would have used him as needed anyway. So that might have been a good move. But yeah, there was really no real pitching by anybody in this game. Lots of hitting though. Aaron homered, Stargell homered, Simmons homered. I got a couple of homers myself. So Hebner drives in 5. Yeah, so no hitting at all in this one. I want to take a look at Wilbur Wood though, because he would have been your opening starter. Let me just look at that real quick. I mean, he gave up 4 runs, but only 1 was earned.
It looks like
8 innings.
Derek got to him.
Well, yeah, he did he gave up 9 hits. Yeah, so it wasn't like a dominant performance. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if there's any other interesting box scores here.
Need an Anthony Alberto box score.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
That one's extra innings.
Let's see this one here. So in this one, it looks like my team scores 4 in the bottom of the 11th. Not a ton of pitching here either. Jim Hunter for Anthony came in with 4 solid relief innings in the middle of the game.
Is that a grand slam for Foster and Luzinski in the same game? Is that what GSHR means?
It looks like just Luzinski, and yeah, Luzinski and Foster. Yeah, 2 grand slams in the same game. Yep. I'm wondering if that Luzinski grand slam is this. It has to be.
It has to be.
Well, it could be. I guess it could be in the 5th as well, but more than likely, I guess it would have been the 11th. A walk-off grand slam. There you go, Alberto. 9-0 on this one over me. Don Wilson, 3-hitter. Nicely done. Yeah. Frank Robinson homers, Parker homers.
Only 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, but still, no earned runs and 3 hits. You'll take that anytime.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My grade 12 Tommy John got plastered. Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
7 earned runs.
Not good. And for some reason, Matlack, one of my starters, was used in relief. I tried a different micromanager this time. I'm wondering whether I should second guess myself now, because with all the relief I have, somehow he decides to bring in Messersmith and Matlack in this game. So that was odd. All right. All right, let's keep rolling. Actually, when I paused it, we didn't look at the standings, so let's see where we're at. Anthony in the lead after 27 games, but Jason is right behind them. Derek also right, still in the game, and technically me and Alberto still very early, but primarily Jason and Derek on Anthony's heels here. All right, here we go. All right, let's take a look. Let's see. We should be somewhere in that 40 to 50 game mark. Anthony's still in the lead, but Jason, Derek, still in it, still within striking distance. Let's take another look. Jason jumps into the lead, but Anthony is right there, still a game and a half behind. Me and Derek still have a mathematical shot. Alberto falling behind.
It's that,
It's that pitching, Alberto.
yeah.
We are past the All-Star break. Moving along here. Let's see. Anthony jumps back into the lead. Anthony says, no, I'm back in this. Anthony, we're going to keep it right here now. 86 games in. Anthony still in the lead, 1.5 over Jason, 102 games played. Everybody else distance away. Jason jumps in the lead by half a game. Derek, 9 out, technically still in it. Jason, slim lead, half a game, 37 magic number. Anthony's right there. Oh, look at this. Jason reels off 11 in a row. Never mind. Yep,
You got
did it. Out of nowhere, Jason, 11 in a row. That speaks to the depth that you were talking about.
Yeah, sorry, Anthony. I thought you had me.
Yep. Impressive. 98 victories. All right, let me log this. Yeah, that was very, very close until the end there. All right, so my team, what is it, 76 victories. Derek logs in at 86. Derek, I mean, good solid season from you as well. Anthony, 89. So Anthony, that is your best season. Good job there. Alberto at 51. Alberto, that was a rough season for you. 51 and 109. Yeah.
319 pursuit.
What's that?
I said 319, 47 games out. Oh no, I was reading to my two.
See, if you flip my run win total with either Anthony or Derek, then they win going away.
Correct. Yeah, those one-run victories, boy. They
really lucky.
They make a big impact. So Alberto, one of the things I've noticed is when somebody doesn't get enough pitching in one sim auction, they overcompensate in the next one.
Yes,
So
I did.
Yeah. So I'm expecting Alberto to go crazy with pitching on the next one.
Very aggressive.
Yeah. All right. So Jason, good job. That is your 3rd season. So if you get one more, you are the champ. All right, let me go and save season 5. All right, season 5 is all saved. Let me go back to our league manager screen and erase the stats for 5. All right, here we go. Season 6. One of you guys needs to win this, or because if Jason wins, it is all over and he is the champ. So here we go. All right, so we should have about 20 or so games in. Let's take a look at the early going here. Anthony in the lead. Derek, my team right
Derek.
behind. Alberto a little, and Jason a little bit behind.
I'm in last place.
You're almost in last place, but not
Yeah,
quite. There you go.
I don't know.
All right, let's take another look. Anthony right there in first place. Anthony's like, you know what? I'm winning this. I'm winning a season here for sure. So after 40 games, Derek and Jason behind. Alberto's still there. My team falling out of it. All right, we should be approaching the All-Star break. There it is. Let's take a look. Midpoint. Anthony and Jason, we have another mano a mano here. Derek, though, right there, a game out, and somehow my team is still in it at 2.5 out.
And I'm back to my usual spot.
At 8.5 out. Alberto's still mathematically in it.
I'm back to my usual spot.
Let's take a look. Derek jumps in the lead. Let's keep it
I
right
moved
here.
up. I moved up.
Jason and Anthony. So it's a 3-man race right here.
Alberto moves up.
Yep. Look at this, a tie, Anthony and Derek, but Jason only 3 out after 118 games. This one looks good.
Back to that.
Anthony and Derek tied. We have a magic number now, but Jason lurking in the background there, 4 games out. Anthony and Derek, still Jason, 4 out. Derek jumps into the lead. We have a magic number. Anthony jumps into the lead now. Magic number of 12. But look at Derek and Jason right behind him. Anthony holding on through magic number of 3. Let's see. We got a rain out, at least one. And Anthony is involved in both of them. Here we go.
I'm out of it, so I'm just playing spoiler now in both those games.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Need to face Perry.
Ooh,
No.
Anthony loses both games. Let's take a look at what that does, if anything.
I hope that doesn't give it to Derek.
Derek
No!
with the victory.
And Alberto doesn't ever last.
Oh wow.
Oh,
I would have sat everybody.
there you go. Oh,
There.
man. So basically, Anthony needed to win. Well, he needed to win both games, right, to
One.
win it, and 1 to tie, right? Yeah. Oh, man, that was exciting. Good job, Derek. Look at you. Derek wins his 3rd season, so we're going to
Sometimes
have.
it's better to be lucky than good, though, right?
That is the truth. And good job, Alberto. You
And
sent
then I
me into
never
last
last.
place. Yeah. All right. That was awesome. Anthony, twice you've come so close.
Yeah, even with that crazy 31 and 19 1-run record, still wasn't enough.
I know. Wow. That is crazy. That was exciting. That was probably one of the more exciting seasons I remember. That was awesome. All right, let me log this info here. So Derek, 88 victories. And let's highlight that. And let's see, Anthony's at 87. So Anthony comes in with another excellent season. Oops, let me go up here. My team's 68. Alberto, 72. And then Jason with a very good season at 85. All right, let's take a look at so average wins per season. I mean, Derek and Jason obviously very, very close. 92 for Jason, 89 for Derek. Anthony, 83, and then Alberto and I at 66 and 72. All right, So here we go. Season 7. Will it end in season 7 if Derek or Jason win, or will we continue and make a run at the 10 simulation season here?
Andy, you won 68, not 66.
Um,
You said 66. That's 68.
no, I did put in 68. Yeah.
You said 66. I could have sworn I heard you.
I might have said 66, but yeah,
Yeah,
but
you're
I
right.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did put in 68. Yeah. All right. That was exciting. Let me save season 6 and we'll come back for possibly the deciding season 7 here. All right, we got season 6 saved, and let's go back to our league manager screen here and erase season 6 and get to season 7. All right, here we go, guys. So if either Jason or Derek win, it's all over. So we should be around that 20 game mark that we normally stop in to get a quick early season look. Derek in the lead, obviously very early. My team and Anthony's team right there. Jason only 4 out. Alberto's 6 out. Should be nearing that 40 game mark. Anthony jumps into the lead. Derek 1.5 out. My team and Jason's team still in it. Alberto falling behind.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another look here. Derek in the lead, 3 over Anthony, 6 over me, 7.5 over Jason, which is the critical piece right there. 65 games in. You know what? We're just going to keep it right here. Derek's 6 game lead. Jason 6.5 out. Anthony 6 out. Derek holding on after 92 games. Getting tight. Jason 2.5 out now. Everybody else falling behind now. Two and a half game lead. We have 115 games played, so we should see a magic number soon here. Still there, magic number of 34. 2-man race here, and the 2 that count. Oh, Jason jumps into the lead with a magic number of 23 now. But Derek's still right there. Jason, 10, magic number of 10. Derek only 1 out. Half a game, magic number of 2. All right, any rainouts? Yes, we do have rainouts. And Derek is involved in it.
Trying to kill me.
Can my team play spoiler here? No, Derek wins. Let's just look at that box score. He beats Tom Seaver.
Wow.
Let's see if this game is, is a difference maker. Final tally, drum roll. Here we go.
That's Derek.
Oh, unbelievable. You know what this means? We have to go to the run differential tiebreaker.
For the season.
Unbelievable. Oh, so basically we're going to now look at, I'm going to show you the StatMaster screen, and we're going to look at the run differential for these 2 teams, and whoever has the highest run differential is the winner of this season. Wow, could not be closer. Unbelievable. All right, let me just log this info first. That is amazing.
I have no idea, because he did better in extra inning games, but I did better in 1-run games.
Yeah. So this will be interesting. I mean, you do have a little bit more offense, So the advantage might be yours, but we'll see. Let me just log this info so I do not forget. So what is it?
Yeah, it looks like
75?
Anthony might have played spoiler here, at least allowing me to tie it up because he won 5 in a row and Jason lost 4. So
Good point. Yeah, very good point. All right, so Derek ends up with 94 victories. Anthony comes in at 81. Alberto comes in at 56. And then Jason comes in at 94 also. All right, so we will not highlight the winner until we look at the run differential in a minute. All right. So I'm going to have to share that screen, which I wanted to do anyway, because we have to show you the stats, but now it's critical. All right, let me pull up StatMaster. But before I share it, I just want to save the stats because I've forgotten to do that before, and then I lose the stats. So let me save it first, and then I'll share the screen. All right, let me share this screen here so you guys can, so we can determine who the winner is. So just confirming, can you guys see the yellow screen?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to get to this in a minute, but let's go to the critical tab, which is going to show us the run differential, which is this last tab. So let's take a look. You guys might be good at math in your head, but I just want to use the calculator. So let's do Derek first. Run scored, actually Jason first. Run scored 841. Runs allowed, Derek's team allowed, Jason's team allowed 702. So Derek has a plus, or rather Jason has a plus 139. So we'll go to Derek now. Scored 781, Derek. Allowed 657. Very slim, but Jason wins with a plus 139, Derek plus 124. Unbelievable. Could not be any closer, you guys.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that was
Tough
fantastic.
break.
Yeah, that was an amazing simulation. It's probably one of the closest we've had, Derek, I think.
We've had a couple ties in a season, right?
Yeah, but not the deciding season. For the deciding season to be decided by the tiebreaker, that's really close.
Yep.
So fantastic. Great job, Jason.
Thanks.
So let's just take a look a little bit here about with the actual breakdown of the team. So on pitching for this final season, again, this is not the entire combination of all the seasons. Derek had the best season, and then the two worst teams had the worst pitching. Me and Alberto. Fielding, this is what I was mentioning to you guys about my team. So I'm dead last in fielding. So my team made a whopping 46 more errors compared to Jason's team. So that in this kind of a tight format makes a difference. And then let's see, hitting wise, let's see, the best OBP was my team and Jason's team. Best slugging was Jason. So again, when you look at really good hitting with good pitching and good fielding, you have a recipe for good results. All right. Let me just confirm. Yeah, I did save this already, so that's done. Let's take a look at the individual stats for this last season. So this one here is pitching. I'm going to sort this by innings pitched. So Derek, nice job by Mr. Jenkins there. And Blyleven. Well, Blyleven high ERA, but Jenkins, really nice season. So Tommy John did not do me any favors. A 657 OPS. Last time I checked, that will not help you win. Alberto, Don Wilson, 504 ERA, 8-21.
9 4
Yeah.
4.
Eckersley, Sutton. Yeah. Jim Cat, nicely done. Where is Wilbur Wood, though? Oh, there's Wilbur right there. Okay.
292.
You did all right.
No, he did fine. Yeah.
18.
The only thing I noticed, Jason, is that because you used the 5-man rotation, his innings were not maximized.
Yeah, I think I had the best team after the lottery, but I made a mistake not doing a 4-man rotation.
Yeah, 4-man might have been a little bit better for you.
Yeah, I think so.
But actually, let me sort this by ERA. So obviously, some of these lower inning guys not that significant. Well, you know what? I did it the other way. Hold on. I did it from worst to best. There we go. So the best starter by ERA was Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After that came Randy Jones, which is also your guy. Jenkins, Derek's top guy. Vita Blue did nicely for Anthony as well. But not, as you can see, not too much from a starting point pitching perspective. Not too much from me or Alberto. So, all right. So that covers the pitching for this. Again, this is only for season 7. All right, let's take a look at the qualitative hitting. We're going to sort this one by OPS and see who the best hitter was. Look at that, Hank Aaron. And somehow Fred Lynn was able to overcome that 5 platoon, at least in this season, but I know he probably didn't in most of the other seasons.
Jim Rice.
Jim Rice, nice job, Jim Rice, by you. Yeah. Foster, Anthony. Brock doesn't count because minimal at bats. Joe Morgan. That was another critical piece, I think, for you, Jason. I mean, Morgan was by far the best second baseman. So even though you paid up for him, it made a difference.
Yeah, he was quite good.
Yeah.
And you got arguably his maybe best, maybe second best year. So
correct.
Yeah, I had some really lucky lottery hits for sure.
Yeah. Well, the other one that was awesome, and I mentioned this to you in the email, was Kingman. Kingman, you had a 17% chance of getting his best season, and you did.
I almost started him. I probably should have started him against righties and just taken the hit on defense.
Yeah, and actually in the test sims that I did start him for you for both sides, and you did get better results. Yeah.
Right. I almost did that.
Yeah. So nice job there. And then let's take a look at the quantitative stats. Let's sort that by home runs, and then we'll do stolen bases. Hank Aaron. When you got great pitching and Hank Aaron hits 59 home runs for you, you're gonna win. And again, Fred Lynn, those results surprised me because I know he was hurt by the platoon factor, but maybe not as much in this season. Jim Rice, nice job, Alberta, 48 homers. Yeah. But definitely the star of this particular season was Aaron. 59 homers, 144 RBIs. Fantastic. Kingman in a part-time role, only 82 games, hit 30 homers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look at stolen bases. See who actually won that battle. Cesar Cedeno, Anthony's guy. Yeah, nice job there.
Nice.
Joe Morgan, 58 stolen bases on top of all that hitting.
I'm
Keith
in there, Ray.
Harris, yeah, and Carew.
30-30 season from Schmidt.
Nice.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Mike Schmidt, 30 stolen bases.
Yeah, Schmidt when he was younger could run. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's still all right. Hold on,
Yeah,
I got
he
him.
could run. He was a complete player. All right. All right, let me stop sharing. So, and again, I'm going to take all the seasons, put them all on an Excel spreadsheet. So I don't know if I'll get that to you today, but for sure, if not today, in the next few days, but I'm going to start working on it today, probably. All right, let me stop sharing. So guys, great job. Derek, thank you for the idea. This was fun. It definitely adds an element of uncertainty to it. So, we're going to revert back to our standard format, but I do like the idea of trying this once in a while. What do you think, Derek? Maybe next time we do the 80s?
Yeah, I think the 80s would kind of make sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll do the 80s, and maybe we'll keep doing all the way up to present day, and then maybe we'll go backwards. We'll go down into the 60s at some point. But
That works.
definitely a different strategy in this one, right? I mean, I tried to play it safe, and actually that backfired on me. I ignored defense, that backfired on me. And then you had Jason where he rolled the dice on some big seasons, and he made it work. But I thought all of us actually, I thought all of us did a really nice job in different ways. So, and one of the things I was thinking about is you have to be careful that you don't want to focus always on the results. What you want to focus on is whether your process was good. So like when I think about my team, I like my process. The results just didn't work out. So I might, if we do this again, I might actually not change that much. I might change a few things, but not the complete process. So great job, everybody. A big thank you. I am going to take a look at our next auction. I'm thinking of going to randomizing World Series teams. So we were doing the best seasons of Hall of Famers, which I'll go back to, but I think I want to go now into World Series winners. So randomize 5 or 6 World Series winners, and that'll be our next 5 teams for the next auction. So I'll give you guys a heads up, but thank you. This was fun. This was great. Great job. Great job, Jason. Terrific season by Derek and Anthony as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you.